So welcome to the May 17th edition of the Flyte Community Sync. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. We have a packed presentation today. We have Eduardo demoing Flyte, PyFlyte Run, and Jeep talking about Flyte at Freedom. But before we get started, just a few community updates and then an overview of roadmap and what features are in store. So community highlights. So we just released Flyte 1.0.1. This is our first patch update after our big 1.0 release. So this includes a few bug fixes to fix a few issues such as workflow parameters, not supporting empty defaults for collection types. We've updated some of the admin substitution for execution time params. We've also fixed STO, which is the data storage layer for working with Google Access ID. We also have some cool new features in Flytekit that are part of this release as well too. You can now do task chaining without explicitly calling, making function calls. You can just use the right shift and left shift operators like so. And we've also updated some improved image config validation to make it easier to use for registration. And if you're interested, you can check out the full release notes and the release link below. Also been busy publishing a few blog posts in the meantime. So Samita has published one on how to build an event-driven neurostyle transfer application with AWS Lambda. Really cool blog, neat example of using Flyte with Lambda. I encourage you to check that out. And we also have an upcoming ML Ops talk with Flyte going over the convergence of workflows in machine learning and engineering. And that'll be later this month. And in case you weren't able to make it, Niels recently spoke at Data Council Austin, and that recording is now live on YouTube if you want to check it out. We run over data safe processing and machine learning with Flyte and Pandera. Highly encourage you to watch the video. We also have some upcoming talks as well too. Kaithan and I will be talking at Data at Scale on this Wednesday. It's a virtual conference, free registration. We'll be talking in the same vein on making data quality a integral part of developing machine learning and data products, going over Flyte and Pandera as well in that talk. So please check that out. And in addition, more talks. So Samita will be talking at Kubernetes Community Days in Chennai, going over MLOps of Flyte. And it'll be a virtual event on June 4th. And then Niels will be speaking again at ML Ops World, talking about machine learning in production with Union ML, which he demoed last week at open source sync, or last 2 weeks ago, the open source sync up, going over Union ML in more context and detail, talking about how he built a micro framework for machine learning applications. And this will be in Toronto, Canada on June 10th. And as always, if you have any questions, we are always available on Slack, but we do have in-person office hours. Hate them at 7 a.m. on Wednesdays, late night ML Ops with Kaithan at 9 p.m. on Wednesdays. And we are just introduced new kind of more US time zone friendly based office hours on Wednesdays as well too, 1:30 to 2 if you want to come chat with me. I don't promise I have answers, but we can talk. Okay, please come with all your questions. Great, and in the meantime, we're always available on Slack, like I said, and GitHub. Yeah, please reach out. We'll have a regular recurring sync in 2 weeks. Nicholas from MethaneSat will be talking about how they use Flyte to transform satellite data and to support their mission of spotting and reducing methane emissions globally overall. So feel free to add yourself to the calendar invite, and if you can't make it, all the talks are recorded and uploaded to YouTube. And we also have the Flyte monthly newsletter if you want to keep up to date that way. Great, roadmap. So what's coming up? So a lot of features are in the pipeline right now. We're working on adding PyFlyte Run support for a task execution in addition to workflow executions. That'll be out in the next release. Thank you, Nick from Blackshark, for adding interruptible support at execution times. So now you can specify that then, as opposed to only registration time. It's awesome to see this come through. We will be working on adding optional value types in tasks, not just workflows. Updating some of the APIs for fetching matchable attributes for at the project level and the launch plan domain. Flyte tags, we've been talking about this for a little bit. That should be coming soon as well too, which is kind of a way for you to embed the custom visualizations and summaries as part of your task outputs. Also working on improving the Flyte remote experience, which includes things like fast register and of course bug fixes as issues crop up. And also working on some propeller improvements as well too, which includes things like better object deletion.